stunning looks than swift.
The last time India and Sri Lanka met at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai, the year was 2011 in a World Cup. The date was the 2nd of April, and that final shot of the game was hit by a certain Mahendra Singh Dhoni, ending India's wait for a second World Cup. Cut to reality. Now that I've got you all emotional, teary-eyed. Cut to reality. We're back here in the World Cup 2023. Context is completely different. These two teams are meeting yet again at that very venue. India, of course, is pretty much in the semi-finals, looking for that cue. Just get that cue on the points table, move into the semi-finals. Sri Lanka at the other end is looking at a place in the Champions Trophy in 2025. Completely different context from what happened in 2011. Thank you so much for joining us on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Matchday as we're building up to 7-7. That's what they're calling it for this Indian team in this World Cup, India versus Sri Lanka. And we got a full house in the studio. I'm joined by Matthew Hayden. I'm joined by Anil Kumble. Joining us from Sri Lanka is Farveez Maharoof. Gentlemen, good to see the three of you as always. Anil bhai, you know, just talk about the media, right? We love comparing. 2011, World Cup, so on and so forth. But I'm saying, okay, that was the second win. When you talk from an Indian perspective, we look back at 1983 and the boost the game got. As far as the Indian perspective is concerned, systemic change, structure put in place, you start building up players as far as that Indian factory is concerned. Post 2011, was there a change or was there more a statement to the world?
I think a bit of both. For us, 1983 was big because that certainly inspired a lot of us to sort of take up the game and then wanting to be a part of the Indian team after the 1983 win. That came as a surprise to everyone. I mean, it was a great win by that Indian cricket team. And then from there on, I thought 96, we had a good chance. We lost in the semi-finals to Sri Lanka. 2003.
Awkward pause, awkward pause.
2003 again, lost to them. That was a good World Cup for India. And since then, I think 2011, 1996, we hosted.
Yes.
India hosted. That was a good World Cup. 2011 probably was the icing on the cake with India winning. And we, as the hosts, was brilliant. I think the cricket was really good. Crowds came in large numbers, supported the team. And then India winning, obviously, was the icing on the cake. And like you said, from there on, I think India certainly made a statement. And we can see that in this World Cup too.
I'd like to just reflect on the 96 one for a moment.
Pulling it back there.
Because Mr. Kumble here was, I think, was one of the great run chasers just nipped in the bud. Not out.
I know. Nobody had a sort of confidence.
That's right.
Kumble Kambli's going and
There's a good ring to it as well, Kumble Kamli. Right?
That's right. Vinod at the other end. Just
I know. I walked in and then
it was a simple run chase as well, right? 250, whatever.
I know.
250 nowadays. 250. So simple. But Matthew, you know, we're talking about the impact a World Cup win has on the country or the cricketing system of a country. With Australia, it's different because you guys are so used to winning. Post 2003, because that all-conquering team going on to win in 2003, did you see an impact or was it more like, okay, one more in the bag?
Look, I just think you're looking up to your forefathers, and if it's been done before, it can be done again. Really as simple as that. So you're looking in our generation to the likes of a Mark Taylor, for example, that was with Mark Waugh, was sort of setting the tone for Australian cricket at that time. Previous to that, obviously, the great Alan Border and his, campaigns. Of course, it makes a huge difference to the way that you want to go on and play your cricket. And I just think even back to 2011, and looking at that score sheet for the day at Wankhede Stadium.
274?
That's right, but MS Dhoni hitting the 6 to win the match. Guess what? There was only one other 6 hit. I mean, we'll probably see that hit in the first over of today's play, right? I don't know how many you can do the numbers, the stats around number of sixes this tournament, but can you believe in that run chase? There was only 2 sixes, both hit off MS Dhoni's bat. So lots changed and lots have been inspired. We'll dig into players, for example, like Shreyas Iyer, and we'll talk about, for example, has he got a problem with a short ball? But, if you expect 120, 130 strike rates, you've got to take risks.
Fear of failure.
And I think that has been the big change from an Australian cricket point of view, and I'm sure it's the same for India as well. Just that fearless cricket approach has just flown out the window, and it's great to watch.
As far as that...
and also the rule change in between the 11th and the 40th over with that extra fielder inside the circle obviously means that the batters can take a few more risks going over the top and getting boundaries. And that's
trust a bowler to say that. Top bowler.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the changes. That's one of the changes that came about post the 2011, and then subsequently with the additional fielder coming in between the 41 and the 50th over.
Two new balls too.
Two new balls too. So
massive difference.
It makes a massive difference. And with T20, the advent of T20 and the ability of these batters to just smash every ball out of the park. I mean, we've already seen South Africa's hitting maximum number of sixes already in this tournament.
Yeah, no mongoose bat so far.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's I don't need it.
Waiting in the wings.
They're already clubbing it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable power hitting. That's where the game has really shifted to.
Farveez, I'll get you into the conversation because we look back at that 2011 Sri Lankan side. Would I be right in saying the best ever Sri Lankan white ball side to not win a World Cup?
I mean, it's hard to compare the sides before that and after that. But 2011, definitely Sri Lanka had a very good side, minus Angelo Matthews, who couldn't play in that final because of a quadriceps muscle injury. But I thought leading up to the finals at the Wankhede, Sri Lanka team was very consistent with their performance, and they were winning the game comprehensively, especially the quarterfinals against England and the semi-finals against New Zealand. But in the finals, India was too good, too powerful at the home conditions, and Sri Lanka for some reason won the toss and batted. Where so much dew was expected, and it actually backfired to the results.
Fair point. If you look at India-Sri Lanka, I remember as a fan, as a viewer, you're watching it, there was that phase, you're saying, what are we playing? Oh, we're playing Sri Lanka again? Is that week again? They've played so many games, especially in that early 2000 period. Let's just show you the head-to-head now, where these two teams are. Because Sri Lanka and their day were a top side. 57-98, that's the overall one, 39 to India's favour in India. In World Cups 4-4, Anil, and since 2023, that tells you the divide, that pull apart from the two sides.
Yes, I mean, of course, 98, 57, if you look at that, that's, like you said, 2000, every year we would play Sri Lanka at least 5 times.
Weekend in Sri Lanka is what it's called.
Yeah, and
good place to visit.
Yeah, lovely.
Good place to visit, but the last thing that you wanted was to run up and bowl at Jayasuriya. He was in awesome form, and it was a challenge. Yes, Sri Lanka certainly has taken a hit post that era. I think in the Sangakkara and Mahela retiring, Murali, Rangana Herat, all these stalwarts missing out. It's certainly rebuilding phase, and they have struggled post that. But this team, it's good to see Angelo Matthews back. That's, I think, a plus with that kind of experience coming in. It's not been easy for Sri Lanka in this tournament, but you never know with Sri Lanka.
Word is he's told his family, make sure the phone lines are open in 2027, because that phone call could come again. You never know. Angelo Matthews yet again. Oof.
Well, I mean, you look at his record, over the years, and it's magnificent. And even, in the last cycles of this World Cup, his batting probably hasn't been as strong, but the reality is his bowling is handy. I mean, he's just a handy, wily cricketer. Got good knowledge of the game. He'll, really help a young captain as well. Interject some good thoughts and some great vision on the game, and he'll be a three-dimensional cricketer. It just begs the question, really, why the heck wasn't he involved in the campaign anyway? It seems to me like there's been too many players like that, from a Sri Lankan cricket point of view, that have just gone missing for no particular reason, and the rest of the cricketing world kind of goes, what happened? So I think a lot of the subcontinental teams, with the exception of India, there's a greater depth of the issue as opposed to just the playing issue. It seems like a whole of cricket issue that kind of exists within countries like Pakistan. That's just, bulging with talent. Sri Lanka bulging with talent, natural talent as well. When you travel around a country like India, and I was lucky enough to go to Savaji Park the other day, and I'm watching these 8-year-old boys that are smashing it out of the park. That just love the game. That have a billion dreams ahead of them, and this great ability to be able to commit to their passion, because there's such great energy, in these countries that love the game so much.
Sure.
So there's something missing, within organisationally or operationally, within a country like Sri Lanka, which, I can't comment on, but surely there's got to be someone that can and fix it quickly. Otherwise, you have situations like the West Indies, which have got legacy within our great sport, who aren't even at the World Cup. And there's obvious reasons for that as well.
Farveez, what do you reckon? Is it more to do with what the ICC needs to do with regards to bringing teams in, or is it more systemic? Is it more inwards as far as Sri Lanka is concerned?
I think when it comes to system, there is a system in place at Sri Lanka, but the problem has been, for example, Angelo Matthews' exclusion from the squad on the start. I think, as I said it in the last show as well, 2020, when the new set of selectors came in, they were quite vocal about building a young team to the 2023 World Cup. But the problem has been the youngsters who have been given the opportunity has not been performing up to the standards. And it paves the way for a veteran like Angelo Matthews to come in. So I see it as a missed opportunity by the youngsters who hasn't cemented that spot. As also the injuries also played a big part in Angelo Matthews' inclusion. I've always kept saying it. I've been part of maybe some World Cups. We all know how important experience is. And we saw the first game where Angelo was back. The mood in the camp was brilliant, and Kusal Mendes, the young captain, was guided by Angelo Matthews in many ways. So it just goes to see, but unfortunately for the moment, yes, the rebuilding process post-2015 World Cup has been going on forever. It's been 8 years and we still talk about rebuilding, which is not the most nicest things to say. But unfortunately, it's been the case for Sri Lanka.
Anil, I'll show you a record that Angelo Matthews has versus the all-conquering Rohit Sharma. And when I looked at that record, I was like, what? Really? Just look at the head-to-head. And I think he's got him out at least 7 times in 18 meetings. Can you get your head around that?
He's pretty canny, and probably the pace. Rohit
7 and 20,
Rohit likes pace coming on to him, whereas Angelo Matthews hits that awkward length for a batter, and moves the ball just enough. And he doesn't have that pace, which Rohit wants. So probably that's the reason why you see this kind of a record against someone like Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, I also think being a power hitter as well, he's got that sort of pace that you're probably willing to take on.
Yeah.
Like I remember my competitions with Shaminder Vass, and Vassi used to bowl an impeccable line and length. He used to swing the ball as well, but he was that sort of bowler for me that I just wanted to really try and take out of the equation. I mean, if Australia had that particular individual nailed up front in the first 15 overs, then we were halfway getting through, Sri Lankan bowling lineup when they had the pace come off the ball in difficult circumstances, often where we were playing them. Maybe that's a reason for Rohit as well. He just goes, right, I'm going to take it on. I know that probably the middle phases are going to be a little bit more difficult or tricky to score at, and so therefore I'll take the risk. And risk just means that a bowler's in the equation. As I say, Anil Kumble's smiling like a Cheshire cat because he wants, to be attacked. In essence, sure. I mean, it might work in my favour sometimes, but more than not, it's going to work in yours as well.
Which begs the question: he so frequently plays that pull shot. He executes it so frequently, but you'll still use it because you know he's going to go for it, and so there is an option there to get him out.
Yes, but he's been extremely successful. Probably one of the best players of that shot in the world, Rohit Sharma. I mean, we keep talking about modes of dismissals. Yes, left arm swinging back in, the short ball. But Rohit's been brilliant. This tournament he's just taken his game up another level. It looks like he's batting on a different surface every time he walks in.
He's not even trying to keep the ball down. So again, as a bowler, you're bowling short. You go, okay, we've got a chance to get him out here. But when you've got these boundaries, especially in the subcontinent, they're quite short boundaries, and there's no chance of him. He's got to really badly miss-hit the ball for it to be a genuine catch. So it's the fact is that Rohit's really just backing himself. I mean, not just the batter, the captain, his team, his country. You can actually feel this great surge of energy through Rohit Sharma at the moment. It's kind of that I'm going to make up for 2011 type mentality, and beware the wounded cricketer, as they say, because these things they act as kind of prickles under your skin and they do motivate you in times when you think, this is my time now to shine.
Toss has happened at the Wankhede. Sri Lanka has won the toss. They've decided to bowl first. Farveez, any surprises there for you?
I think personally I would have loved Sri Lanka to have a bat first and put the runs on the board and try and put the pressure on the board and get to Hasun Raditha, Dilshan, Madhusanka, Dushman, Shamir, 3 seamers bowling under lights, and that's the best chance that Sri Lanka could have knocked off the strong batting lineup of India, beg your pardon. But I just think because of the dew, Sri Lanka is taking that option of chasing it down. So hopefully with the new ball some wickets. If not, we could into a leather hunt.
Yeah, because what we've seen as far as dew is concerned, it's coming at about 8:30 p.m., 8:45, which means 30 overs are done already in that second innings. So if you're batting then, you're kind of saying, okay, stay in the game till those 30 overs because those last 15 is going to come our way, in a sense.
I think generally at the Wankhede, the surface remains the same. It's a good surface to bat on. Yes, with the dew, it'll be tough for the spinners. And if the 2 batters are set, then it's really difficult to sort of hold back when you're chasing. It's not easy bowling at the Wankhede. When 2 batters are having a go at you. Small boundaries, the bounces even, and you can really have a crack at the bowler. So that's the challenge at the Wankhede. Like you said, Sri Lanka perhaps thinking, okay, if we can restrict India to less than 300, because the average score at Wankhede is probably 300.
Yeah, it's 308, I think it is.
Yeah, minimum 300 you need for you to sort of have a competitive game. And if they can restrict India to less than 300, then probably they'll fancy their chance, saying, okay, here's a chance where perhaps the survive till that 25 overs, not lose more than 2 or 3 wickets, then you have a chance.
The numbers don't suggest that it's in favour of one side or the other. But I think in this modern day, and especially you see so much IPL cricket that played there, and again the numbers suggest there's not much of an advantage, but you always feel going into that venue that it's best to know what to chase. The only chance then of getting really hurt is getting blown out of the water inside the first 10 overs. That first phase, if you're losing 2, 3 wickets, as we saw England did against India the other night, they just lost too many wickets, then you can't have that big push into that phase looking to attack a big total when you've got some dew around, you've got the scoreboard pressure happening, you've got this crowd that's going to be the 13th man today as well. So that sort of, all that kind of plays, into the thoughts of a captain when they come to the toss. But my preference, and I'm sure India's, would be that they'd like to chase down a total.
Chase down the total as well.
And you think of guys like Virat Kohli, for example. I mean, he's there overnight sort of locking in the algorithms and working out the permutations and combinations, because he's so good at timing his runs in run chases. He's one of the great masters, I think, of the modern era. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll see. It's set up for a good one because the playing 11s are out for ways. One change as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. Dhananjay De Silva has made way for, let me just get that. Yep, here's the one. Hemanta is the one who's come in. Dushan Hemanta. Can you explain that change? Do you understand why that change would have taken place?
I think Dunit Lalage would have had a strong case as well to that spot. Dhananjay De Silva, yes, he has been failing with the bat. And his off spinners have added a lot of value to the Sri Lankan squad. That's why Dushan Hemanta, a leg spinner who bats a bit, have been preferred. But if you ask me, I would have personally preferred Dunit Lalage to play in this game. Purely because the last time Villalage played before the finals in the Asia Cup, he picked up, I think, 5 or 6 wickets against the Indian batting lineup. So those little, mind games might be on the minds as well with a youngster like him. So ideally, I would have loved to see him at number 7. Especially, you need a batsman at 7 who can bowl. In this case, with Dushan Hemanta, he's a bowler who could bat. So the batting slightly weakens for Sri Lanka. But that's a bit of a surprise to me, not playing Villalage instead of Dushan Hemanta.
As far as the Indian side is concerned, unchanged. Tells you a bit about the vibe, the mood, everything in this camp. Everyone knows their roles and everything is moving according to plan.
Oh yes, I think there's a very strong side, and even people sitting on the benches, probably I said this before, that they'll probably walk into any side in this competition. So that's the kind of strength that this team has. And we saw Mohammad Shami come back and just do what he's capable of in those 2 games that he got an opportunity.
Focus on Shreyas Iyer?
There is
Yeah,
a focus,
yeah.
but the reality is, I think it's for us, this side of the fence, to be talking about. I'm pretty certain inside that change room, they'd be really convinced that Shreyas is an individual that can take them into a World Cup qualifying position and can win you a game on his own bat. I said it before, like if you want a player to have a strike rate of 70, Shreyas Iyer could probably average 60. But the fact is, in the modern game, we want him to have a strike rate of 100. Which means that, you know, come the short ball, he's going to try and take it on. He's going to get out to it. He'll like to play it, and he should play it. You know, when you think back to the years like someone like Suresh Raina, we started to, in the media, really go at Suresh Raina around his short ball issues as well. But the fact is, he was so talented that he probably focused too hard on that weakness, if you like, or his own perceived weakness, and forgot some of his other strengths as well. And that can happen quickly. It doesn't matter whether you're a batter or bowler. If you start focusing too much on weaknesses, you get yourself in trouble. Shreyas Iyer doesn't have to worry about it. He averages 42 or 43 in the limited time he's been playing ODI cricket. He's fine.
It's his home ground as well. So, I mean, he knows the conditions much better. Happy space. It's his home ground.
What is this entire Shreyas Iyer issue with the short ball? To tell us more about it, we're joined by Yash Jha, who sends us this report.
India had an optional nets 2 days ahead of their clash with Sri Lanka at Wankhede. 7 players showed up, but the standout bit of that net session came right in the last half hour. Shreyas Iyer entered to bat after a lengthy enough chat with coach Rahul Dravid. It was throwdowns for the next 30 to 35 minutes, and the vast majority of those throwdowns saw him facing short pit stuff, trying to get it clear. It has come back to haunt him again. In the last 2 matches India have played, first Trent Bolt in Dharamsala and then Chris Wokes in Lucknow got Shreyas Iyer out with balls that were either short-pitched or short of good length, and that continues what has been a worrying trend for Iyer through his ODI career. You break down his ODI career, and out of his 43 dismissals, 32 have been to pace, and of those 32, 18 have come to deliveries that have been pitched in those same short or short of good length areas. It is abundantly clear that that is a tactic all opponents are going to use when they are coming up against Shreyas Iyer. So, as he returns to what is his home ground at Wankhede, can he turn a corner? And perhaps the other question to ask here is that if this continues and Suryakumar Yadav's form stays good, when Hardik Pandya is fit, could Shreyas Iyer's spot at number 4 be in danger?
Yes, my friend, the perfect reporter. just
trying to open the cracks to something for me that seems really solid. You know, if I was sitting in that dressing room, I'd be saying to Shreyas Iyer, buddy, you just go play. You know, let us as the media talk about, you know, these situations. The worst thing I think you could probably do is start focusing on, I don't know if you've ever faced those wangers, but those wangers come down at 1,000 miles an hour. You got no idea of the direction that they come, and the pace is always different, and you start getting bugs in your system because they don't create great rhythm, in my opinion. You know, so it's just about trying to settle his mind, you know, if you're inside that dressing room and just saying, look, you're a part of a very successful group of batters here. Less pressure on yourself, more on just maintaining you. Even if he's maintaining 35 average, that's a pretty decent average at a good strike rate. You'd take that any day of the week.
But from a Sri Lankan point of view, he knows you're coming at him with the short ball. You know he knows he's coming at you. You know, he's waiting for that short ball. Do you still go for it? Do you still go there and test him with it?
Absolutely. I think it's about creating that doubt on the batsman's mind. It's not about bowling everything, bounces, but it's all about setting your field right, getting the angles right, and letting him know that Sri Lanka is definitely up for it. And in case if the opening partnership as well as first couple of wickets have a decent score, and let's say for example Shreyas come to bat around the 30th over, I still believe a couple of overs from Dushmantha Chameera would be a definite tactic used by Kusal Mendis, and try and get that doubt into the mind, and that's what you could do. I mean, personally, I had that issue as well when I was playing, and as Mehedos correctly said, when you worry too much about it, you think about and you forget, all of a sudden you forget your strength as well, and you don't keep your shape. So in this case, I just hope that Sri Lanka try and dig in deep, and as soon as he comes in, just let him know, have a slip in place, go attack him, because the rest of the batters are in fine form. But Shreyas Iyer, definitely there is something missing, and I'm pretty sure that Kusal Mendis is trying to execute it.
I think, Anil, also the key is, like Matthew alluded to, as a management, you've got to tell you're not alone. Because sometimes it can feel like very lonely. Me versus this, I'm going on the nets, keep throwing the short ball to me, some come off, some don't come off. You need to put him in a happy space. Say, don't worry, take it easy.
Yeah, I think, every cricketer has some sort of a limitation, unless you're a Tendulkar or a Shane Warne. So you just have to sort of understand how to get used to that, and then devise a plan as to when that happens, because you know that, like Farveez mentioned, Sri Lanka will come and bowl bouncers at Shreyas Iyer. Either you take them on based on the situation that the team is in, otherwise just know how to get off strike. And this is a one-day game.
You got time.
You got time, and you can't keep bouncing. You only have a few things that you can do.
Boundaries are short as well. On
Boundaries are short. So once you get your eye in, then it's easy to play those shots. So maybe the first few 15, 20 balls, there will be some bounces at him. That's where you just have to take a get off strike and not really take people on.
See, there's no time to necessarily make the adjustments. The schedule of cricket's so quick. So we're looking at Shreyas Iyer maybe practicing not for this match, where he's really at home in conditions here in Mumbai. We may be actually looking at him going, okay, we're going to take on South Africa in Kolkata, which is kind of like more of a renowned place for bounce and carry. And South Africa got 3 genuine quicks, especially the big fella, Marco Jansen, who's coming down from 7 or 8 foot, it seems. And he gets that added bounce. So he maybe is planning that far ahead as well. You don't, like, we always don't see the context of a training session in isolation like that. We just go, oh, that's the problem. But actually, what he's thinking about is the solution, not the problem, which is powerful thinking.
Fair. What Yash alluded to, of course, it's an option there, because as we know, we're assuming Hardik is not coming before the semi-finals. Why would you risk him before that? Or possibly Netherlands when the job is done by then. Makes sense, in some sense, because Surya's sort of getting used to that role. If Shreyas still doesn't continue scoring, let's forget the short ball, let's just say not scoring, getting those runs, then Ishan Kishan, does that make sense for you? Or you continue with Surya and Hardik comes in, then you move up KL Rahul up the order?
Yeah, possibly one option. I mean, if Hardik is available, fit and coming back in, and if Shreyas doesn't get the runs that is expected of him, then perhaps that could be one option where Surya continues to remain in the team, and then Hardik walks in, and then Rahul moves on up. Hardik bats 5 or Surya bats 5 and Hardik bats 6. But I mean, these are ifs and buts. You just need to watch. If Shreyas, I feel when Hardik is fit, Surya sits out. I mean, that's how it started.
Me too.
That's how it started. But if the management feels that, look, he's not in the right mind space because of what we are talking about in terms of, there's a chink in his batting, then perhaps yes, but otherwise I don't think you need to worry too much.
See, it is possible to feel the pressure as a young player in World Cups. I mean, I had 2 World Cup campaigns, and the first World Cup, I just felt really at sea with the tournament play. And in fact, my whole life actually was a very average tournament player, even going back to youth carnivals. I just felt there was extra speculation. You've got the world, that's really concentrating like we are now on someone like a Shreyas Iyer. Peers are concentrating on you, opposition sides. There's a great focus around the World Cup, in and around a very busy, hectic schedule of ODI cricket with the bilateral series and just generally just a sea of cricket. So it's a real magnifying glass, and it takes time to make the adjustments. And some players, young and fresh, they get it and get into it, and others don't. Like when you think of Rohit Sharma, for example, like his, 500s in the 19 World Cup. That's a remarkable. We're seeing Quinton de Kock do something really similar, but we haven't heard those two in previous tournaments doing that. So there is a time and a place, and Shreyas and management will take that into account before they start making wholesale changes when they're on a winning streak and their nation is now on the verge of qualifying and feeling good about themselves. It'll be steady as she go at the helm. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, I guess you just have to do your time, in a sense, and find that happy space. And once you're there, this is my time to come and really, pull off those runs. Farveez, if I have to talk about Theekshana, because a lot was spoken about Theekshana, one of those main guys as far as that Sri Lankan attack is concerned, hasn't looked as potent in this World Cup, especially in the wickets column.
Yeah, I think ever since he came back from the injury, he hasn't hit the A game that we have known of Mahesh Theekshana. Some games he was bowling with the wet ball due to the dew. But overall, what I've seen is during this World Cup, the ball which grips and straighten down the line to the right hand has not been happening for some reason. Maybe he's not putting his 100%, or maybe the wickets aren't conducive for those deliveries, and it's quite good for batting. So those are the things that I could think of. But at the moment, he's the #1 spinner, and every Indian player knows how Mahesh Theekshana bowls and the tactics he's going to use. So he'll be tested today in a good surface at the Mumbai Stadium, a small ground. He'll be that's someone that Kusal Mendes will be looking forward to getting some breakthroughs in the middle overs. But I think Sri Lanka's strength rallies around the three fast bowlers who have been doing decently well. Even the last game, though Sri Lanka lost to Afghanistan, I thought Dushmant Chamir, who played after a long time, did look in a decent rhythm. So hopefully, Sri Lanka could get these angles right, tactics right, and use these three fast bowlers and Mahesh Theekshana well to try and negate the score.
Let me just check the time once. It's past 1:49. It's time to talk about 49. 49 ODI hundreds. Matthew, tell us, is it coming? Is it coming today? Virat Kohli, 4 in his last 7 ODI meetings.
Yeah,
versus Sri
is
Lanka.
it coming today? Yeah. Well, I'm going to make a bolder call around Shreyas Iyer. I think he'll get the lion's share of runs today, but he can never back Virat out in the situation. I mean, he'll probably enjoy also maybe just, if he does get an early chance to bat, to be able to set a total as well. He could comfortably settle into his groove and start carving out another big one. He'll love the conditions. It's a really nice day.
Yeah.
Slightly cooler, I suggest, than maybe what it's been over the last few weeks, the last couple of days. He can settle into his work without too much sweat coming off the brow, if that's possible here in Mumbai. But yeah, look, he's just phenomenal, isn't he? And he's a phenomenon. You mentioned some great names before, but he's going to sit right up there with the very, very best. And we saw Sachin Tendulkar just walk out, with UNICEF today for the One Child Day, is it called?
Yeah.
Another great name, another great venue, and he loves a big stage. Why not?
100%. If you look at this Indian team, because we're talking about clarity, the one thing that really comes out from this Indian team, there's clarity with what your role is. And that one role that's given to Virat Kohli is that you bat deep. People bat around you, and it's something he thrives on. He loves building that inning. So in a sense, if not today, it's coming tomorrow, but it's coming sometime in this tournament.
Oh yes, the way he's batting, for sure. I mean, these are perfect conditions, and he would love to play. You get value for your shots at the Wankhede, and it could be today. And it doesn't matter when he gets the opportunity. Even I'm sure Rohit and Shubman Gill hasn't. We haven't really spoken about.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. So he's someone who'll want to get some runs as well. So if the two openers get India to a good start, then it doesn't matter when Virat walks in. I'm sure in these conditions, if you bat 20-25 overs, then you're in with that score. So yeah, he'll be certainly.
Are you calling it? Is it his day?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's his day. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's just crazy how the entire stadium just comes together. I think it was the last game where everyone was saying, Virat, 49. It didn't happen, anticlimax. But it's just crazy how it just comes together. Like you said, that man you saw right now, Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
The last time I saw it happening was for him, and now it's for...
How good is it?
Yeah.
How good is it? Just puts you on the edge of your seat. Having such a powerful milestone, that's possible on any given day. It's great for the game. It was great when Sachin was playing. When you're an opposition player, these great men were, out in the middle, and you hear the cries of Sachin, Sachin. And it's this electric atmosphere, and it lifts you as an opposition player as well. Or you can sort of look for very small blades of grass to try and hide under, and that's clearly not possible. So, yeah, it's a big call on an opposition side like Sri Lanka coming out
Come back
to Wankhede and having someone like Virat take the wicket, use that opportunity to bat. It could be a very special day.
We love comparing, so we're going to compare the two great men, Virat Kohli and Sachin Tendulkar. Let's just show you a couple of numbers with regards to Virat and Sachin. And this is, of course, 1,000 plus runs in a year. It's, Farveez, look at this. I think if he gets about 60 odd or 66 odd, it'll be the 8th time in a calendar year where he's got 1,000 plus runs in ODI cricket.
Great numbers. He's just a modern master, isn't he? I mean, I said it last year as well. He's a GOAT of ODI for some reason, and I still hold that quote what I said. He's someone that inspires millions of people, billions of people, millions of cricketers. Everybody wants to do a Virat Kohli. For example, even my 10-year-old son just want to evaluate Virat Kohli. So that's how good and that's how big he's been, and hopefully that he will break many more records and he'll keep playing at this highest level and inspire many more.
And you kind of get the sense, Anil, that both Rohit and Virat kind of realize that this might be the last ODI World Cup, given that the next one is 4 years away. So you've got to really cash in and make it happen now.
Yeah, I think when you play World Cups, every player sort of thinks that this could be the last World Cup, and then you want to give it your best. And like Edos mentioned about Rohit, missing out on that 2011 World Cup certainly has sort of catapulted what he wants to achieve as captain.
Yeah.
And at home to go on and lift the trophy. I'm sure both Virat and Rohit and the entire team would be thinking about that. And these two are really special. And the kind of batting that these two have certainly done in this tournament has been exceptional. I mean, Rohit has set the tone from the start, and then Virat in those couple of important games where the run chase was difficult, one in Chennai and the other in Dharamshala against Australia and New Zealand, he ensured that he was there till the end.
I was also just thinking that the psychological aspect of having a tournament that's say 4 years away, and your roles shift throughout those times. As you rightly said, you've got someone like Virat that has an opportunity to chase down a total and does. He wins the game, but he's got this great mix of young
guys around him,
Indian cricketers around him as well. Guys that even aren't playing, like Ishant Kishan, for example. They bring this super energy to the old fellas, if you like to call them that, or the old brigade.
Yeah.
And then you as the older player, when you've gone through different tournaments, you go, oh, this is so sick because I can now shape and influence, someone that's going to have maybe another 3 World Cups ahead of them. I can't see Shubman Gill, for example, not playing another 3 World Cups. I mean, he's of that age, he's of that kind of class and ability. And he'll be just sucking up Virat Kohli and the Rohit Sharmas of the world, and just like Sachin, I'm sure, influenced Virat and what you said before.
Is it a different kind of satisfaction? Of course, you go win trophies, you win matches, but here you are helping a young individual reach his potential.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, that's what cricket is all about. I think for us, when you first come in, you look up to the senior players and literally are waiting to just get things off them and then watch and learn. Not necessarily that you need to have conversations. You're just watching and learning. And then if you happen to be a batter and then you get that opportunity to string together a partnership with one of the senior players, then you understand the flow of the game, how you manage situations, how you manage pressure, and no such thing as being a part of that. And it's an amazing feeling to be a part of that.
That's the best time, isn't it? When you're in the middle with one of your heroes or one of the legends of the game, and everything that comes out of their mouth under pressure is just absolute gold dust, and you remember it throughout your own cycles as well. So you'll take that into a partnership where you're batting, for example, in my case with a young Michael Clarke that just wants to sort of emerge as a great within the game, but he's hanging on to every word you say as well.
We're talking about young players in India now. Farveez, how about another youngster in Sri Lanka who's been impressing everyone? Madhu Shankar, especially in the power play, and the way he's been bowling. We're talking about Jansen as well, bounces the ball. This man as well gets a bit of bounce. Lots of potential going forward for young Madhu Shankar.
Yeah, definitely the biggest positive in the World Cup for Sri Lanka. Ever since he made the breakthrough in the Asia Cup last year where Sri Lanka won, where he knocked Virat Kohli's medal ball off, when he's been a star in the reckoning. And come within 1 year, he has been the #1 bowler for Sri Lanka with the new ball. And he has, slowly but surely gone up the ladder. And he's somebody that Kusal Mendis looks up to whenever he wants a wicket. So just for a 21-year-old, the maturity he shows, absolutely brilliant.
And he'll challenge also the inside edge of Shubman Gill's bat as well. You know, that any right-hand batter that gets the ball, you know, back into the line of their stumps is always tricky. Same with us, a left-hander. You know, Matthew Hoggard coming back into me as a left-hander, always challenging that inside edge, guessing whether it's going to go away, because he cuts his angles down as well on the crease. He'll come around the wicket sometime, as we've seen in this World Cup. So he's got great stable options that he can go to for a young fast bowler. He's dangerous, simple as that.
Gentlemen, how do you see this going now? India's already there, game started.
I think it should go India's way. I expect India to score more than 300 runs on the surface and then knock Sri Lanka out, because they're playing one batter less.
Yeah.
Dhananjaya is not playing, which is a good thing, because it means Angelo Matthews will come up the order. I felt really it was very strange to see Angelo Matthews batting so low for Sri Lanka. So yes, it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I expect India to get this through.
300 plus?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hammering today for India. I think they've just got the momentum. They've got the opportunity now to use this wicket first up, which I don't think they'll necessarily like, but that's what they've got right now. Just their class, and they should go on and try and really look to hurt Sri Lanka in this game.
Farveez, anything less than 300? Good day in the office for Sri Lanka?
Absolutely. I think only that will happen if Sri Lanka picks about 3 wickets in the power play. If not, I think we're looking for more than 300, 325 in the first innings.
They've already got one.
They were, I think we need to go off air.
Yeah. Let's keep doing this.
No. Okay, Farveez, Matthew, Anil, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We, of course, will be coming your way after the end of that Indian innings. Before I go, let me just remind you, if you haven't downloaded the ESPN Cricket Info mobile app, do download it. Scores a lot more. Scores news, views, analysis. Follow us on our various social media handles. Thank you so much for watching. You're watching Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket Info Match Day.
Stunning looks, then swift.